AI is a big issue in the law these days and a big issue in the world, but it actually, in my mind, just means even more you have to focus on the argument. Ultimately, in America, all law is decided by humans. When you go into a trial for murder, say, it's 12 regular jurors, 12 people plucked off the street, out of factories, out of shops, and they're the ones who vote innocent or guilty. The judge is a person too. So you're making arguments to people, and you got to think about how to make those arguments. AI will replace some of what lawyers do, but I actually think it'll make being a lawyer much more fun. So, as I said, the three keys to being successful in the law are hard work, practice, and making a strong argument. When you work at a law firm like I did, you realize that most of the people actually only do the hard work and don't actually ever get to do the fun part of making the argument. The very lowest junior associates and the paralegals, they review documents and they do really difficult, hard, kind of repetitive work. And it's the more senior people who get to make the really fun, the great arguments, the ones who get to think about the issues. And those are the people who have very interesting jobs. And the lower people, it's less interesting. And it's those repetitive, kind of uninteresting jobs like document review that AI really might replace. So it might be a little harder to break into the legal market, but if you go and can show you can rise to the top by making good arguments, you will have a much better life and it'll be much better. And I bet you will be more highly paid because it'll be just the people making the good arguments, and all the money and all the rewards and all the attention will shift to them. And this makes preparation to make good arguments even more key. No one is born being able to make a good argument. No one, even in high school, can make a good argument out of nowhere. It all takes practice, practice, practice. And with AI becoming more powerful, the kind of brute force work in law firms that doesn't take practice, the document review that any smart, hardworking person can do, that might get eliminated. So it's all about the ability to make a strong argument. That is what will separate everybody, and that will become even more important. And so I think I look forward to AI's impact on the legal field, because I think it'll just eliminate jobs that aren't that interesting, aren't that fun, and will leave all the best parts of the law still to humans.
确实，我个人感觉也是这样子的。就是 AI 作为一个工具，从很多低端的工作当中，其实把各种职业解放出来，但同样带来的挑战就是导致这些行业的入门的门槛变高了。那么就是从 Phil 他本身来讲，他从最好的美国排名第一的法学院毕业，那么有这样就是大家也看到他这样的一个表达能力、思辨能力，他觉得其实对他这样的一类人才来说，其实 AI 只会是让他们更加如鱼得水。所以呢，我觉得有一点呢是非常非常重要的，就是说真的要找到自己的擅长和热爱，这依然是不变的。So you also have a sub point, ethics of flawed judges.
So this is a key point. As AI gets better and better, the question is, one of the big questions in law is, are we going to accept that humans are flawed? Because I can tell you, I've worked with juries, I've worked with judges, they make mistakes. The 12 random people that are got off the street to be the jurors, they are flawed. They're certainly not perfect people, and they do make mistakes. And so the question is, do we want flawed decision makers making mistakes? And the ethical question is really, is AI flawed, or what makes AI flawed? And the big philosophical defining question of the future is whether we want to replace these humans with AIs and what the ethics of that is. Is it better for humans that you can look in the face to make 2 mistakes for every 1 mistake this nameless AI makes? What does it mean for AI to make an ethical mistake? If I were to predict what are the fundamental questions that are going to be asked in the law 50, 60 years from now, it'll be the ethics of AI. So that was just why I put that in there. But to highlight that, for now, it's all about arguments to people, but that will be a pressure point of the law that everyone should think about. And if you are ignoring the ethics of AI, you are willfully burning your head in the sand to a key point in the law.
Okay, okay. I did not know about that because
Right.
probably you know, because you're going to judge for our TK ethics. That actually is a debate about ethics of technology. And but I think for law field, that kind of question will come much later because right now the most of the debates around like ethics in the tech field. So you really brought up a very good point. I think probably we could use that for future motions, but it's so complicated. Like
It's
as
very
you were,
complicated.
yeah, framing the questions like I just find there's no easy question there because human they do make mistakes, right? You witnessed like we all witness a lot. So yeah, that's a kind of such a complicated question. It's hard to answer, but I think that's for every industry and every like yeah, like it's facing this common question, like a challenge there.
Absolutely. So that does bring us to our conclusion. And so the conclusion is think about arguments. Law school is all about the ability to make an argument, the ability to write good argument, and the ability to identify and a good argument and pick apart a bad argument. And so this is all about clarity of thought. It's about dialogue and it's about insight. And these are the skills that are fostered through Ethics Olympiad. But if you don't spend your time debating and thinking about these issues, you can't become a lawyer. Everything is practice, everything is hard work, and you have to just devote hours and hours and hours of your time to debating and thinking about these issues. And Ethics Olympiad, which is a structured way, is something you can put on a law school application or a college application. All of my debating you couldn't put on an application. And so if I had to do it over again, I would do something like Ethics Olympiad instead of varsity soccer. But that is just my big takeaway is think about arguments, make arguments, and pick apart arguments wherever you find them and whoever is willing to debate them with you. And that's the key of law school, and that'll define the future of the law field.
对，其实是这样子的，就是人的一些基本的能力，可能是这些顶级的法学院更看重的，真的并不是某一段的课外活动。因为其实当你在你就热爱的、擅长的领域能够做出非常突出的成绩的时候，其实就证明了你有他们所需要的基本的能力。Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
also we look forward to having you like in August judging at our TK Ethics Grand Final. And thank you so much. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to be here, and I wish everybody the best.